Hi everybody. Who am I and where I'm coming from? As always, I'm designer till bones. Like branding is the air I breathe. It's in my blood all over, and I would say I have never ever had a job in my life. It was always hobby. Additional that I was paid, like going to office from 9 till 5, from 10 to 6 and getting paid for this. But it always have been for a decade a hobby. And I think it's a really great gift. My design mind was shaped. Do we have a pointer? Oh no, okay. So my design mind was shaped in branding and advertising agencies. That's where I started, and still I'm a branding person. And that time we didn't know, we didn't read Smashing magazine. We didn't know what is Nielsen Group. We didn't know anything about that UX that is currently going on. And John Maeda, design and tech was nothing for us. We were living with Canas lines. We were presenting each other on birthday the mock-ups of yellow pencils, saying, hey, this is your birthday present, but next year you will have your yellow pencil. Anybody knows what is yellow pencil? Okay, this is the biggest advertising, it's the biggest graphic design award in the world, probably, for designers. Good to get yellow pencil, black pencil, white pencil. It's something like, I don't know, like Oscar in film. So this is an award for graphic designers in the world. And then I jumped to digital, at first to bigger corporations, then to smaller software houses, software agencies working on for Norwegian and German startups. And 2 years ago, when I was in software agency, working for smaller startups, communicating face-to-face with founders, and this is where you got really interesting things. Somebody would tell me, hey, you will be in 2 years, full-time, 100% in-house in a startup. I would say, because I was completely agency person, working for multiple clients at once. And then if somebody would say, yeah, and this startup will be a blockchain startup, I would say, double never ever. However, it happened. That's my team. Exactly 1 month ago, not exactly 1 month ago, it was like 23rd of the previous month in Barcelona, mentoring on T Labs, like Deutsche Telekom Innovation Lab hackathon, dedicated to only blockchain. I celebrated my 1 year with this team. We are Jolocom, and to sound buzzy, we are a blockchain startup. But to sound true, we are not blockchain startup only. We have nothing with crypto. We are the team working towards something that is called a better digital identity world. The next step of self-sovereign identity is a better digital identity that you can own. And I see one person nodding. That's great. So this SSI. And I joined them to fill the complete, we had the roadmap of design, and there was small and big tasks, like the small tasks and big task mobile apps, it's almost a year to cover. And we did some really successful steps, so this was a rebranding. On the way, I learned a lot, because when you're working with the companies and multiple clients in agency, that's one thing. But when you're joining the blockchain and you need to understand what's going on, your brain is boiling. Your mind is flipped around, and it was very hard. But on my way of this year with blockchain and working in the mostly developers team, I met a lot of people who open up with another side of the world, and it's called D-Web, the next web. The first point that I have just mentioned, that was that one. It's me joining Jolocom. This is the road till this day, and today we have, again, red dot is Design Lab, meetup. There was something that happened previously Not that long ago, it's like around half a year ago, and it's called Web3 Summit. Anybody heard about Web3 Summit? Okay, perfect. Then at least one person. Web3 Summit is a developers conference dedicated to developers working for blockchain, for the decentralized web, in decentralized companies, on the apps, etc. It's a big event collecting the players from all the world in Berlin. And since there was all my company partners and our developers were running workshops, and we treat all this event as the global meeting point, I was meant to hanging around for all 3 days of the conference. What was good in this conference? They had their workshop area, and it was separated by nodes, split in nodes. And one node was called design. What is not that good is was only UX design, but like we will get there later. I didn't mean to run any workshops, but after the first day, I noticed that there is a lot of talks about onboarding non-technical users to the apps. Do you know what is DApp? The app. So it's a decentralized, for those who don't know, it's an app based on the blockchain that allows you to create something decentralized. I probably will share later more links so you get into this, but it's kind of like now we live in the dying depth of Web 2 when services own everything, but then we're transitioning to the Web 3 when we own everything and it's always shared. And the app is the next generation of apps. But I think that it's a very highly technical still, and it's called, like we in blockchain, we call it crypto bubble. Those people who have crypto wallets, they know what is it. Those people who don't know, who have crypto wallets, they don't know what about this. And the thing that all the UX workshops around were meant to onboard non-technical users, and all this onboarding was starting at the moment when people opening the app. And I was listening to those workshops first day, and then on the next day, when it was a second day of 3-day conference, I came in the morning, and I was sleeping with this idea, and I messaged to my team right in the morning, like, hey guys, I'm out for this day. I will take this day off to prepare a workshop, and I'm giving a workshop tomorrow on the third day. Because in general, the situation is a little bit different. You're ruffling sketch licenses, organizers. Okay, they are ruffling sketch licenses. Can anybody tell me what are these loops? Loops are already a hint. Any advertising people here? Okay. That's a very kind of famous in advertising and branding world. The loops of A, customer acquisition, B, brand loyalty, C, like the brand, product promotion, whatever you can call. And the thing that when user downloads your app and you start in-app onboarding, this is the second loop, because they have already made a decision. They made the first purchase, meaning downloaded the app. But the second loop is not the real onboarding. The real onboarding happening on the first loop. And the very, very first moment of onboarding is happening when people are hearing your name for the first time. They seeing your logo for the first time. They hearing your presentation and watching the presentation online or in the real world for the first time. Or when somebody of your friends tells you about some particular product. That's here the true onboarding starts. And here they discover you, and then they evaluate you. They will visit your site. They understand, like, is it the product for yourself or not? And then they download. And then in-app user onboarding starts. Because, like, in general, I like this comparison of products, of digital products and chocolate. If let's say the UX is the chocolate is the product, and UX, you can put all the colors on the chocolate. You can put all the flavors there. You can put whatever ingredients and unboxing experience. But people will never ever taste the chocolate if they will not take it from the shelf in the supermarket. like this. And let's imagine if the person have no clue about requirements or anything going in the industry, if they have no previous buying experience, or even worse, like if they have buying experience, but this experience built by years and it plays against your new product, how you will make people choose you if you look like everybody else on this shelf? So here we are with the talk of 3 steps of visual design strategy to differentiate your product. If you would like to tweet visual design strategy, get Jolocom. I'm from Get Jolocom. You have already seen these images. These 3 steps, if there are any startup founders or product owners, unfortunately, these steps are meant to take by designers. So the primary for designers, because it should be a part of creative process to differentiate your product. The first step is start with research. And I mean, that shelf was here for and the previously for a reason. I'm coming from the digital agency, from the advertising agencies, and how you work in the advertising agencies in your creative department. So you have a brief to rebrand the real physical product that has a packaging, and then you work with your marketing department. Usually when you get the creative brief from marketing department, there is a written where the product will be placed in the shelf. So you go to the supermarket and see the shelf, and you look at the shelf, okay, my future product will place there. And then you go back to your office. You see what's going on around. You go back to the office, you design the product, and then you make the mock-up and place it to the shelf, and step 2 steps aside and think, okay, does my product pops up in the eye? Will people notice it? It's called the shelf placement test, and it's still going on in every agency when they design every packaging that you see on the market. Seriously, it's a traditional exercise that is required by every company. So when I joined Jolocom, I have no clue what is blockchain. I know only the word, and I know that I knew a few of my friends has crypto wallets and they were playing with crypto, but we are not about crypto, and it's something else. And I asked our business developer Kai to share with me all the list that we have so far. Our partners, our competitors, direct, not direct, the people we would like to collaborate with, the whole community players, and even those startups that are going with us to Austin, because we were going to Southwest by West to present from the stage in German house. So there were another 7 startups with us, and I wanted to see how they look. And when I was doing this visual research on all those companies, there were 2 thoughts in my mind. Like the first one was, seriously? And the second, you kidding me? That's like blue interfaces in the isometric world. That's how we call the situation. Oh, Pantone color of the year. And then there was an occasion of crypto conference, like, okay, crypto is not our area, but let's make field research. I'm super curious. So I went to this crypto conference, and the situation the same. Everybody is blue. In general, when you are doing your research, you can go to Crunchbase, AngelList, Product Hunt, what else? Index by the Next Web. You need to have subscription for this, unfortunately. And then you can just ask client directly, when the product is launched, what directories I can find it if I would like to search for alternatives on the market. And they will tell you what and then you can make the research by yourself. Another kind, like I was very curious, what is the design bars in the world of the blockchain? And of course we know that on Dribbble 2/3 are fakes or just discover or like creative discoveries, but anyway, that's what designers have in mind about blockchain. Let's go and make. So go to the Dribbble, type blockchain, press enter. The first scroll, the second scroll, the third scroll. It was 1 year ago. Can you believe, like, you can go now and check, nothing has changed. Well, the only one changer, we moved from very purple, like more purple moved to more blue, but that's all, and that's it. And when we had first presentation, we have this session with my team. It's called Making Design Decisions, when I gather the whole team or just interested people to make decisions, because I'm not a design decision maker in general. Like I'm not slap on the table and say, we go with this. And I said, before I will show you our concepts for the mood boards for the brand, this is our shelf. Let's imagine. And when we finish the rebranding, I want to put the shot there. And I want to see that our shot is the attention grabber, and we are not blue. And we defined something that is called design taboo. That was very nice. I mean, this is very interesting, like no blockchain graphics. I mean, somebody years ago drew blockchain. Have you ever seen blockchain? It's untouchable, it's unlivable, it's not growable from the ground, so you cannot see it. It's good if you have design taboo for everything that you create visually. Step 2, we are transitioning to step 2. Define emotional values and triggers. Well, you cannot cause love in eyes, but you can facilitate attention and understanding and trust. And trust is very important. Well, every brand is meant to serve people, and people are different. And usually, the one single brand has different audiences, different stakeholder audiences. It can be the huge group of customers, maybe smaller of early adopters, maybe even smaller few people of stakeholders, but very important stakeholders like a business decision people in the corporation that I would like to see as a partners. And then it can be the whole community of developers that is fueling your brand on the alpha, beta, before release version. And in the ideal world, of course, you would like to have, I could like click, but I can't. You would like to create a brand at once for everybody. But this is a visual thinking. We are living in a startup world. So we live from one MVP to the second MVP, plus hypothesis-driven design. In general, you just choose one stakeholder audience and try to design for them first. And then you look at what you have designed, how the target audience accept it, and then you see, okay, can we apply it for the next group of audience, or do we need to evolve something to match both like emotional states? And when it comes to brand, I really like this. I found for myself it's very true. When you're launching a new product, it's like your product is going to the party with your early adopters. If you're invited to the party, and you know what is a party, and you know what people will be there, you probably know how to wear, what talks will be around, and how to behave to be accepted. To be accepted is very important. You don't need to be liked, you need to be accepted and to start conversation. So let's imagine it's a corporate party. I mean, it's an end of corporate party that can end in the big corporations with dancing in the suits. But if you know that you're going to the corporate party, you probably will wear a suit, you will have perfumes, you have your talk nailed, knowing to whom you would like to talk. Then you step to the hall and people look at you and they say, okay, this is one of us. He looks like we can accept. I would like to talk to him. So in general, when it comes to branding and the person, how you look is your visual strategy. You can change your looks depending on the audience, but again, it's a visual strategy. And then you start talking. How you talk is your content strategy. Because whatever handsome man you are, whatever beautiful woman you are, if what you tell me doesn't resonate with me and I don't believe in this, I would never do business with you. And business is user experience, because here when you interact with every other person. So we start with the cover, and then again, the same situation. Now you're going to the party again, but you was kind of lazy, didn't trust the approach, and you decided, okay, I don't care what the party is there. I like my suit. And actually how many designers approach the problem, the design issue is that they go to Dribbble, they check the most popular shots, they make this design Frankensteins, and they look very slick. It's like your suit, and you're going to the party. How do you know that party doesn't look like this? If you haven't checked your audience. So then if you're coming to the suit to these people, whatever handsome you are, however expensive suit you have, they will not accept you because they have already a friction of talking to you. You are not one of them and you will not be accepted. Here we are. For ages I created this pattern of creating the visual language. At first you outline the stakeholder portrait. Why not customer? But stakeholder, we already talked about this. Then you define emotional space and values. Next slides. And then you create the whole visual language. So how do you define emotional space and values? I have a mix of questions. It's like the whole bunch of questions that I mix and match and delete once, add one, and others. To ask stakeholders, it's usually good to have from 4 to 12 people to fill the type form, so you can have insights for every mood of brand. They're funny. You need to have funny questions because not to bore people. But then there is very difficult ones, like in 2 years had a projection, what association you would like to have with your brand, etc. And then very straightforward, if you would like to have somebody to attach adjectives to your brand, what you would like to have there. Outcome of the whole thing is called like brand personality traits. Is exactly like every person can be described by adjectives. Every person can be described by just sayings, friendly, strong, as well as brand. And you have this board. They are different. This is actually a board for my current company, Jolocom. The whole team completed, we created this. And when you have the board, you go to the next step. That is called create mood board. So that was a trait, the brand personality traits. Now we are going to mood board and call it a North Star. If you're a visual designer and you're going to a particular direction to reach the point of creating a brand, there is a whole stack of brand assets that you need to cover. And you have a starting point. That is your starting point. You create a mood board, and then so how you create a mood board? So if you're a visual designer, you have brand personality traits that actually are adjectives. And some of them, if you will go back, you will see that you will never have the same brand personality traits for different companies. The only word will be always there. It's like innovative. Like everybody wants to be innovative, and you just add it there because they all said, but it doesn't mean anything currently, unfortunately. But you have those brand personality traits, plus visual associations, what you have and clients already said you. So you take sharp, it was an example from one of my company. We wanted to make the brand sharp and to show reflecting roots, so we go with very sharp forms of logo and all icons. And we decided, okay, if we will go friendly, maybe it will be through photography. Let's experiment. And if it's elegance and perfection, maybe it will be colors. So we landed in black and white brand. That was by my Jolocom. As a visual designer, you can find like A/B tests, and you can go. You can show tagged ones, not only black as dominated color, but we decided might work, and it worked within a pilot. And then you have the whole bunch of assets that you need to cover. It's like those, the first slide with the stargaze and the whole goal of having a mood board in a year, when you will wrap all the assets. And I'm saying in a year because it means if you have a mobile app, if you have 2 mobile apps and a website, it seriously will happen in a year, believe me. in Jolocom it didn't happen in a year. We're still designing mobile apps. But then you will have this whole bunch of assets, packaging, business cards, collateral, social media, all social media assets, slide decks, all slide decks. We have approximately, I was counting recently, 28 slide decks for different, and it's still growing. And media kit. What is in the result? When you design it in a year, you put all the assets on one side, like you can print it actually, and then the mood board on another side. You step aside and see, does it look as similar? So does it translate you, give you the same feeling, your mood board and the brand you have designed? In my last agency, before joining Jolocom, our design team were making a nice experiment. We had mood board to every project, and we have interfaces. So when we were in the middle of the project, we were printing interfaces, slicing them like just by scissors on pieces, and we were sitting in the coworking space, in the huge coworking space. So we were running around and asking people to allocate the part of the interface on the mood board. That was a very nice exercise. People really enjoyed them, and we really enjoyed as well because it turned out that we are kind of doing good as a design team, because all the pieces of interfaces were allocated on the right mood boards. That was a success. An example, how mood board applied. That was a mood board for one of co-working spaces in America for med tech and like this high chemical tech startups. Mood board. Then there are plain wireframes from the UX designer, and then you style it. And this mood board again. You style it and mood board again. So it's kind of really look similar as a mood board. A few examples, again, let's have fun with visuals. Like brand personality traits, it's a product for parents. Mood board for parents, like really like toddlers. And then the whole, the lower level is a product, ready product. The second, brand personality traits, mood board, and the ready product, and the logo, and the pin that is actually was produced as well. Jolocom, personality traits, mood board, pieces of final product. You can visit our website, you can all the social media. I'm stuck in this style already. Yeah, the whole conversation brought us to this dot that happened almost a month ago, before today. We organized Dribbble meetup. It was meant to bring the visual variety, exactly what I discovered within the all design research done with this blue interfaces in isometric world covered with blockchain graphics, etc. And it turned out like it's actually an issue of all the industries, the blandness and sameness. So we organized this meetup. That was very successful. We ran the panel with the BCG ventures, with agencies, with startups, talking about how you approach MVP design, how you hire visual designers, what trends can influence and what cannot influence. We have really awesome speakers because I was particularly selecting them. Those designers that create design that steps too far. That was jaw-dropping presentations, like family. Who have been in the family? Yeah, so you know how they look. And Iryna was a voice of Alice. She told why they look like this. And this was actually the topic of the whole event. And the last dot of this timeline. The thing that my company recently joined the forces with San Francisco, is our partners, and they are organizing Decentralized Web Summit. They were in Web3 Summit as well, and it's actually the community fueled by designers, a lot of designers and artists there. So we decided to join our meetup groups into DWeb Berlin and DWeb San Francisco. So we now with DWeb. And the thing that on this article I below wrote that the event was awesome, seriously, but we will not host the next Dribbble meetup, never ever. Because the next meetup will definitely happen having a name DWeb Design Meetup in the mid-May. And again, it anyway will meant the whole goal of visual variety, design research, and make brand stand out by designers. Thank you.